Good evening, ladies and gents. And what you're looking at here, not the red brick building here, the stone one here, was St Mary's Church, Lambeth. It's now a garden museum. The garden museum is housed in the medieval and Victorian church of St Mary at Lambeth. The first church on the site was built before the Norman Conquest and was integral to the religious centre establishment of the Archbishops of Canterbury in the 12th century. The structure was deconsecrated in 1972 and rescued from demolition by the museum's founder, Rosemary Nicholson. The museum opened in 1977 as the world's first museum of garden history. The churchyard was redesigned as a garden. The building is largely a Victorian reconstruction of the Church of St Mary at Lambeth, which was deconsecrated in 1972 as said, and was scheduled to be demolished in 1976. John and Rosemary Nicholson traced the tomb of two 17th century royal gardeners and plant hunters, John Tradescant the elder and the younger, to the churchyard, and were inspired to create a museum garden of history. It was the first museum in the world dedicated to the history of gardening. So that's the museum aspect of it. But also, as I say, this was a church, and this is a pretty interestingly and important historical one, because St Mary's Lambeth and Lambeth Palace, the Howards, the Norfolks, the Boleyns, all of whom would have well known this place. And inside this church is buried Anne Boleyn's mother, Elizabeth Howard. So we'll get some exterior views first and some of the history. If you stood in this spot over 400 years ago, you would have seen some of the landmarks seen today. The Tower of St Mary at Lambeth Church, Lambeth Palace, parts of Westminster, and the course of the River Thames. Pause to read if you want to. I'll take you through. It's like a garden area now, and then you've the churchyard in a minute, which we'll cover in a sec. I'm on low battery and there's something wrong with my power bank. I think it's the wire rather than the power bank. At least I hope it is anyway. This is a dried up fountain, unfortunately, but it's got these mosaics around it. Look. Bliss, March 2008. This is a nice one. Helen B. Lee, March 2008. As I say, it is a churchyard garden now. Just where that lady is, there is a book repository. It's like a book, it's called the Book Box. Oh look, Captain John Valentine, the South Staffordshire Regiment, the 7th of November 1914, VC, that's the Victoria Cross up there for valour. That will tie us in nicely later on with a piece I'm doing for 2 days' time. Most of the commemorations and celebrations, or commemorations for the First World War, happen on November the 11th, when the war ended. I did that last year, and this year it's going to be a bit different because I'm going to do it the day the war started. So my filming for that is already completed. I filmed inside this church earlier on this morning. I've saved my outside filming till later on because I wanted to get to this church and churchyard. I'll get you some nice exterior views of the church first. Got a few remaining gravestones and tomb slabs here. Most of them are worn away, I'm afraid. you'll see that piece of stained glass there, but from the inside. Lovely old church, and when we get in there you will have the enjoyment, if you like it, heights of climbing all the way up to there with me and getting the nice view. As I say, it is a churchyard, well, it is a garden museum now, and you've got sow, grow, eat tomatoes. They're doing quite well actually, no blight on them or anything. Sweet peas, these are. You've got another greenhouse over there. Which is very nice. So, get some pictures of the church itself. You've got tomb slabs here, and here as well. Also, there are graves over here, which do seem to be a bit the worse for wear, some of them, and this one seems to have been laid on top of the other one. This one here has been laid on top of this one by the looks of it. George Reeves. What I wanted to show you before we go in, which we'll do in a sec actually, so we can get some nice views from here. All this, the Lambeth Palace, you'll see much more and much better when we get up there. So I hope you'll all enjoy this one as much as I did. It's the lovely bell tower. Check that. There we go. Garden Museum. Someone's smoking a vape. Smells like a sweet shop on steroids. I hate the smell of them things. You've got a great big tomb over here, look. Within this vault are deposited the remains of William Seeley of this parish, son of James Seeley, late of Exeter, merchant, and Mary his wife. So there are quite a few stones remaining, and a few memorial tablets in here as well, as we'll see in a minute when we get in there. The main thing I wanted to show you, one of the main things, this plaque commemorates John and Rosemary Nicholson, who founded this museum. John and Rosemary. Obviously, this church, the salvation of this church, owes itself to these people, so thank you to them. And the man that you see there is John Tradescant. So that's a nice little touch, isn't it? I'll try and get that's it. Just wanted to get the name plaque properly. And I couldn't show you over there just now because two ladies were sitting there, but they've gone now. So yeah, that's our outside views pretty much done. They are done. And in we shall go. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me inside for our little tour. I hope you're going to enjoy. Off we go. And in we go. There are lots of memorial stones in this porch, some of which are damaged and some of which are not. Pause to read any of the inscriptions. In the middle of this chapel lies the body of Sir Peter something, late Alderman of the City of London. Can't see the rest of it because it's behind there. Memory of William Bacon, the Salt Office, London gent. Who was killed? Oh dear, look, by thunder and lightning at his window, July the 12th, 1787, aged 34 years. Oh wow, that's really mad. I shall take a picture of that. Henrietta Dessart Bredferton, the affectionate and beloved wife of Captain Robert Brereton. Oh, that is interesting. You've got more up there as well. Yeah, what I wanted to show you mainly is the history section. My first intro filming bit I did for the church I wasn't happy with, so we're doing it again. And this leads you through all the major events of the church. We've got (1972). So yes, what I say, it was ready for demolition. So we're really lucky that this one survived. Rosemary Nicholson, the idiot, is more or less single-handedly responsible for saving this place. 1977, the world's first garden museum opened. As I say, this is the world's first garden museum. I'll show you this in a minute, but just a little bit of the information here. Pause to read. It's got a beautiful stained glass window there. As you can see, I've taken lots of photographs. And this is the base, the old base for the font. But, interestingly enough, I'll show you this in a sec, the interesting thing, but the Crucifixion 1888 by George Tinworth, which is this one here. Also as well, a full immersion font, 1900. Archbishop of Canterbury, Edward Benson, 1883 to 1896. Appointed his close friend John Reeve as the rector of St Mary's in 1894. Reeve commissioned this font in Benson's memory. It is one of only two known examples of an immersion font to be found in an Anglican church. Grant, Lord, that through the grave and gates of death we may pass to our joyful resurrection. Amen. That's what that means. But I'll walk you into it. This is where many people would have come and been baptised in memory of Edward White Benson, Archbishop of Canterbury, as it said on the description thing. His friend has been a very great friend to be memorialised like that, and I suppose this is what would fill it up. This is the bell tower, which of course, me, you are of course going to have to see. Here we go, this is what we'll be looking out onto in a minute, but I won't spoil it with the TV thing, because we will get the real view of what we're going to enjoy. So, ladies and gents, join me for bell tower climb. Anyone that knows me knows I love bell towers, and this is going to be our first major bit of the tour, really. I will do it in 30-minute increments, because I've noticed when I put them on straight on Facebook, they seem to be popular. If they're over the 35 minutes and I have to YouTube them, not that it matters, but they don't seem to do as well, the videos. So be honest with me, do you prefer Facebook, YouTube, or doesn't it really bother you? I'll probably start doing them in 30-minute increments anyway. Videos that are hours long, I mean, people will watch them, but obviously you may not going to watch the whole thing in one big haul, and you've got to then remember where you were in the video and stuff. So if I put them on in 30-minute increments, everyone's happy then. No access, and it's padlocked in there, so the interesting thing is to think that Anne Boleyn, as well as Catherine Howard, would have been in this church at some point. I can't remember if Anne Boleyn's mother died before her or afterwards. I think it was before, but even if it was after, she would have come to pay her respects. We're almost at the top. So, sorry. Oh God, we're at the top. Whew. Oi, gewalt. Oh, I'm going to pause you a minute while I compose myself. I have now composed myself, somewhat anyway. But as you can see, my friends, it's well worth the climb, isn't it? I'm going to do a very slow walk around the tower. As I say, each one will be 30 minutes, around 30 to 35 minutes. As soon as I hit over 35 minutes, and I think it's 48 seconds or something like that, it just goes crazy. And, well, it doesn't go crazy, it mutes the sound, which is very annoying. Especially if you work hard on a video. Here you can see Westminster Abbey, the dome of London Central Methodist Hall there. Sweating. Well, at least I can say I'm sweating like a PIG without feeling like an absolute stink pot today. I did it said that by accident in the Jewish cemetery. Right down river. Lambeth Bridge there. Obviously you've got the modern stuff as well. But this is the lovely old turret that we came in through there. So I'll turn you back this way because someone's coming, so we'll go around the opposite way. Oh dear, it's a climb and a half that. It is a real climb that. Oh look, you can see so much over this way, it's lovely. Beautiful view. And this of course is Lambeth Palace. The Norfolk family, the Howards, the Dukes of Norfolk. Oh look, there's a man coming out of the turret there, look. Little door just opened. Yeah. There he goes. Now that must be an interesting job, mustn't it? But you got the beautiful building in its own right. The Great Hall. Now there you know Catherine Howard, Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII himself, the bishops. So many people would have been in those rooms and sat in that hall, and so much history that it's seen. And then we go right across to London. Shard. And this building here with the green dome, just there is the Imperial War Museum, and that will be visited very, very soon. bloody flashes on. So I turned the flash on for climbing up in here, didn't I? But yeah, as I said, this is the lovely turret that we climbed up in. The Howards, the Norfolks, the Boleyns, the Tilneys, they were all connected and interconnected with each other, and they lived in an absolutely ruthless world. A real cutthroat world was the Tudor court. Let's try and get some nice snapshots while we're here. And there you've got Westminster Abbey, and the Victoria Tower, the Houses of Parliament. Houses of Parliament and Westminster Bridge. The Queen Elizabeth Tower, I think it was originally called St Stephen's Tower, I think, but it was renamed the Queen Elizabeth Tower, and inside there of course is Big Ben, which we shall hear strike the past in a minute. We should do. So this is the gatehouse of Lambeth Palace, and this is where I'll show you my journey. Just behind the Houses of Parliament there, I got off at the station, came along Westminster Bridge, crossed down onto the South Bank, and walked all the way along down the South Bank to here, crossed over the road and in through the little churchyard garden, as you've seen. So that's my journey for the day. There's a guy, there's a fat guy up there, look. Oh sorry, I shouldn't have said that, I'm quite fat myself. He's taking a breather. These climbs and these stairs are not for the unhealthy or the disabled, put it that way. Any minute now we should hear the 1/2 strike. Look, and you've got Big Ben with the BT tower next to it. It's a pretty good view, that. That's an aspect view of London I've not seen before, with the pair of them lined up like this. I like that. Send you back in. Should be striking any minute now, Big Ben, as I say. I hope we'll hear it from here anyway. Come on, Big Ben, we're a little slow. Over that. That was very faint. I don't know if you heard that or not, but that was Big Ben chiming. Anyways, that's our little rooftop tour done. Hope you all enjoyed this one. And let's go down these stairs. Going down will be the easier part, so that shouldn't be too bad. So, join me at the bottom for part 2. I'll get in here and give you a little view of it. Because going down these things, you do have to concentrate. And this one has not been modernised or adapted. So each stair is a different size. Bloody trick stairs, what they used to do in the old days, in case they had to defend this place against invasion. Anyone running up these stairs would trip over and hopefully fall on their own sword. And as I've said before about the big stone thing that goes down the middle there, if you're right-handed, it prevents you from swiping with a sword when you're coming up. But if you're standing up here, you can defend well. So yeah, that's trick stairs. Anyway, join me at the bottom.